Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of Transfer Market Metrics. Number 27, I believe, if I'm right, but that could well be wrong at the same time. The season ends on Sunday, doesn't it, people? And for all the celebrating we're planning to do, all the happiness, it's natural that a few thoughts are drifting to the summer and the window, and there is some exciting and serious links to talk about tonight. And even though he looks like he's kind of a cross between just got in from a funeral or with his accent now sounds like and looks like one of the Cray twins enforcers, Dr. Bart is here to run through the stats as ever. And with these three, how would you frame these three, Bart, specifically?
Oh, good question. I personally think all of these move the dial for different reasons, but yeah. I think there's one that I think is a very interesting player, which won't cost a lot of money and would fill a hole in the squad, should we say, would be decent. And then there's two others that absolutely would move the dial and put us in I would think, a very strong position for next year. So, yeah. That's probably where I frame it. But they're all exciting signings. I mean, it's the first time the three of us have gone. I mean, the two of us have gone there. These all three are exciting. So, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, if all three of these arrived at Anfield, which is a huge ask, people, we would not be sad one little bit. So let's get into it. And we will move through the pitch, as it were, tonight. And we'll start in defence with a Portuguese player. Tomás Araújo, I think it's pronounced, Araújo, but we'll go with Araújo for tonight. 23 years old, only just 23 as well, Bart. So it's a good age for Liverpool in the way we profile. Centre-back and right-back, because some people are going to call that out straight away and say, hold on, is this a right-back? But he's played both for Benfica. That's important to say. We'll talk about his speed, and I'll frame it with the start of Benfica are a selling club. We know that. That's their model. It's the way they operate. They're also looking at selling Carreras potentially to Madrid. And it's important to note, people, that this guy only signed a new deal at Christmas time, just gone. But also because it's Benfica, it's kind of fattening up the turkey for Christmas a little bit. We know what's coming. And he's linked with PSG. And more importantly, he's linked with us. And I'm sure people clocked it as well. There was that Sam Maguire exclusive article, wasn't there, that if Liverpool couldn't get Dean Huijsen, and we know where he's bound for now, that Araújo was definitely on the list. And I'm not going to lie, from the scan over I've had, Bart, I am excited about this player, but we'll run the numbers as ever. We'll stack it up and see what we come up with.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's just domestic leagues, this one, just league minutes. He's in and around 2,500 minutes, which, is good. But just for league days, that's good. That's an upgrade from previous season. And, yeah, he's sort of gone up a bit. So he's playing enough minutes. And, Benfica are always in European competition. So he's going to be fairly used to playing twice a week, which is kind of what you want to do. While we're down here, though, we'll have a look at our old favourite, aerial duel win rate. And he's currently at 62% for the season. Last season, he was at 70%. So he's got a range there, so we say. That might be down to him playing more at fullback than centre-half this season, maybe than last. I don't know. But, we'll have a look at that. In terms of impact on the team, XG per 90, he is having a slightly negative impact, but not by much, sort of on the balance, which is probably what you want for a defender, if I'll be honest. As long as he's not affecting you too negatively the other way, it's okay. So if we get right into it, so a few bits to do with this one. Two profiles, as you said, which is probably quite important, I would say. Always good to have versatility in your players. So centre half to start off with, and the key areas here that is probably something to look at is tackle. So he's a bit reactive, not proactive. Yeah, he's making too many reactive decisions in centre half. This is In between the boxes, really, really strong. 99th, 80th, and 63rd, which is good. And then you have in the opposition box a really good profile as well. So yeah, some really key, interesting data points to look at, and a lot of green, but a bit of a worry where there are some reds here, particularly areas one. If we flip that to fullback though, it's not a profile we're kind of used to seeing for a fullback for us. Defensively, probably, to be fair, stronger aerially for a fullback. Tackles still a little bit high, but the other metrics in a lower end, particularly blocks for a fullback. We normally ask our fullbacks to block cross, and this isn't happening. He is more of a passer at fullback than he is a carrier, okay, which is something we used to see, particularly from right back. But he's not particularly effective in the defensive box. So yeah, it's kind of, if you rank those, you'll see that's his areas as a fullback. So strong in terms of passing the football, and tackles, but it sort of goes down a lot and is particularly worse in terms of the shot creating actions and the XG created. If you look at the centre half and we rank it, there's a lot more green to be said, but he has some blocks. Interceptions are still quite low for defensive metrics. Obviously, shots and that you kind of take on board. But yeah, so he looks like he profiles better as a centre half than the other fullback. With that in mind, looking at his centre half comparison, this is him with Konate. He's actually better than Konate in a lot of the attacking metrics. But then we know where Konate is in relation to our team and that kind of thing. So yeah, but defensively, Konate is better for. I think Konate is better attacking it, which is a bit weird. Like he's got more penalty goals, that kind of thing. So yeah, some things here. And aerials, obviously, we know Konate is an absolute beast in that area. If we're looking at fullback, so who do we compare him with? So we compare him to the young lad who's just signed a new contract. No, I would say that's pretty similar profile in the fullback area. So yeah, it's Thomas and Connor are very similar in their profiles. If you look at the wagon wheels, which is an interesting thing to have going forward, particularly his versatility, the two players. So just moving through that. So yeah, the versatility there is showing coming through because he's got a very similar profile to our current right back, which is a good and a bad thing, I suppose. Centre half wise, he looks strong, and as a backup right back, which I'm hoping that's what we'll be looking for, he's not too far. Connor is better than him, but it's not that too dissimilar, if you get what I mean. So yeah, looking at his dashboard though, so he this is a game at the weekend. Involved in passes every couple of minutes, which is good. Low chain, so that's basically he's involved in a very short amount of time. Low chain, as in less than 5 passes, and then he'll move forward quickly. Not involved in zone 14 or half spaces, fine. He's a defensive player, so yeah, kind of want that. We look at him, his impact here. He actually created nearly just over 8% of the team's threat, which is pretty good considering he's a defender, which is nice. Pass success at 85%. Okay, that's good. It's kind of in the areas we want. And yeah, there's some positivity, I would say. He played right back in this game, so yeah, there's some interesting parts. Threat wise, what did he do to stop the opposition? And we can say, just trying to quickly find. He's probably stopped a fair amount, I would suggest. I can't see him on screen. But yeah, so there's definitely some positives to take from him. Defensively, in terms of the work he's doing, he'd have been in these areas. So lots of defensive actions in the right space, should we say. XG wise, didn't create anything. I don't think it didn't have any shots. So yeah, overall, I mean, you're the man with the figures, but I think it's probably could be an astute buy if he's going to come in, partner up with a very dominant centre half, and he can offer you flexibility playing backup fullback, but also playing a centre half, which actually, when you look at his comparison with our current first choice partner to Virgil, I don't think he comes off as bad as people might make out. There is going to be a Portuguese tax, which is something to consider. Portugal Premier League up to the Premier League, but to be fair to you, you're only losing 10%. So it's only a 10% reduction in the stats. So it's not as bad as other players from other leagues around the world. So yeah, overall, could be this could be a really smart signing from the club, to be honest with you.
I want to ask you this because the stats look great on the surface as we're analysing, and there's a few things to bring into the mix because we talk about speed and its importance in defending. This is a player 6'2" who's clocked just shy of 36 kmh in the Champions League, so he is rapid. Absolutely rapid as a centre back. That's important to say. You mentioned the fees. That's important to talk about. That new deal he signed in December, 67 million quid release clause. Now, naturally, they sign it in euros, don't they? So it's about 80 million euros, depending on how those translate at Tesco. But also can play right back, can play centre back. Maybe the only name to complicate it in the mix is a weird name. People will have heard of it before and think, Ali Barat. Where have I heard that name? That was the agent who was involved with the Huijsen camp, who was trying to push them towards Chelsea. So that was in the mix, importantly. So people will look at that. But 67 million quid, rapid, could play right back and centre back. Without saying it's not my money, Barts, would you like him to be at Anfield next summer?
I think of all the options we've looked at, apart from the lad who's unfortunately got injured now at Dortmund, who I thought could be a really smart signing. This makes a lot of sense to me. It's probably a little bit on the pricey end, but I do think he covers both. He's not. So let's be clear. Connor has potential, right? We can all establish that, yeah. But that profile there as a fullback says that he's in and around the same area as Connor as a fullback, but he passes it rather than carries. That's not a bad option to have. No. Defensively as a centre half, he's hit 70% in terms of aerials. That's again getting towards what we would want. And equally, if you remember, one of our best combinations we had centre half was the rapid Joe Gomez and the dominant BVD. So there is some things to like about that. And if you go to the more extensive profile of him, you start to pick out his ability at centre half to pass the football, which is good. So we've said on recent pods, and you have, and I've done on others, is that if you start bringing in too many carriers, you need someone to actually pass the football from the back through the first, right? Really? So this is not a bad look at this. It crosses into the, expected assists, expected goals, passes long. That's 86th percentile, right? That's good. Passes,
real variation. Yeah.
Real variation in his game, right? So this means that we could potentially have a left and a right that can build from the back through passing. Because you remember as well, one of your sixes at the moment, Grav, isn't a passer either. No, so you need to have that. So for me, this could be a really smart acquisition. And I'm sure they're a selling club. They'll find a way to bring the fee down to somewhere they're happy with. That's just the way we work as a club, particularly the players that don't want to go to Liverpool. So, I would suggest this could be a really smart deal.
Yeah, we all want Ibu to renew. I don't think there's any doubt of that. But even just as an addition, a third choice, like you say, maybe even because of the way you described him, a sadness, but a Joe Gomez type replacement, this would be a really smart investment. So if Liverpool can get Tomás Araújo to Anfield, we should all be excited, people.